First, I skip this cutscene, hold up right on the control stick, and I wait for Link to kick before I start swimming. That way, I know that the air meter will appear before I hit the surface. Now, the reason this setup is referred to as the 1C up method is because you only enter first person mode once, and that is when you are right above the pillar. The reason why it's fast is because you get the alignment while still moving towards the dive spot. It's a bit precise, but after you practice it for about half an hour or so, you'll be quite consistent. So, it works very similar to the regular pillar clip setup. You can see this is the frame I get with a boomerang. I'm going to show some pictures later on that will like highlight the important frames. But right there I actually got the float up, but it was very, very fast. Usually the float will you'll have to wait for him to float for like 1 or 2 seconds, but there it can also happen instantly like that. So the alignment you want in the beginning is on the wall at the very other side. You want Link's head to be like you want Link's head to look at the wall in the back there, and you can see many small lines, and right now it's really hard to see, but I'll show a picture later that will highlight it. But it's like one very, very thin black line that Link's head will be aligned to, and then that's like the first visual cue. You want to swim towards that line, and if not directly like towards it, then maybe slightly to the right of it, but you'll get the feeling for that eventually. So that's the first visual cue. Link's head aligned with the wall on the other side, and this really, 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 really thin black line. So it's kind of awkward with, you know, considering this game is 480p and you might play on a CRT or something to get no lag. It might be a bit hard to see. I'm playing on Dolphin, so my resolution is very good. But even so, like, it's very hard to see on the recording, even if the resolution is pretty good. That's the first visual cue. And the second one, you can see the A button, and like around the A button you have like this fancy little interface, and you can see this like swirly thing, like right below X, a little bit left, but like basically right below X, this little curly thing. And right when that curly thing connects with the platform in the background, that's when you hit C stick up, and you just look down and you see if you're in a good spot or not. So I'm actually going to show some pictures right now. So first of all, you should be able to see my mouse here, and you can see like this technically counts as 2 black lines, like one here and one here, and like one here and one here. Here's one, and there might be one over there. This is a black line. This is the one I'm talking about. Very, very thin. Here comes another black line, and another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. So it's like in the middle of this section right here. It's like this line, and if I draw, it's not gonna help at all, I don't think. So I'll try, but it's not really going to help. So I'll have like the smaller size, and yeah, you can see it's this. It's starting from here, and you can see it divides into this line. And then this one, which is one I want to focus on. This one right here. So I'll erase that and try again. This very, very thin line coming down here. Right there. And you want Link's head to be right here. And it's kind of hard to see because you're not going to like have a ruler and like while moving towards the spot, and it's like make sure you're exactly on the spot. But that's the visual cue you want to go for, and it's okay if it's a little bit off, but if like the closer you are to the middle the better. And you can see like here's the next black line, a little bit thicker, and in between here you can see like this white spot. So I'll erase that. Between these 2 black lines there's a white spot. It's either like you either want his head to be right on this thin black line or on this white spot. Kind of like hard to tell, and his head is too big. It will cover both visual cues, but that's what you want to go for. So I guess first of all you can see like some obvious visual cues, like this one is very bright, this one is very bright, bright by bright. And so to start off, just look for this really bright spot on the wall here. And once you got that, you know you're very close to the line. It's just a little bit to the right, and then down. And it's this one, this line right here. You want to like keep your eye on that line, and like look down and look up and look down, and like try to align link side with that line. That's the visual cue I go for, because that's not moving. If you try to like align with the hearts, you know, like the hearts will move, like this wall will disappear to the left, so it's not going to work. So that's the first visual cue. That's the one where you do it on the fly, and you want to set it up very quickly, because it will change. Like if you wait a few seconds, it won't be as accurate. And then this is what I was talking about earlier. Kind of bad explanation, but this is it. So this whole interface, like very pretty thing, and this curl thing right here, I found this to be very good. I used to use, I think maybe this part of the Master Sword or the white outline or something. I aligned that with like the wall here, like some structures here. But I tried it for like half an hour now, and it's been so long, and I can't really seem to get a consistent visual cue with that one. So I made this up right now today, and I like it a lot more. So you want this right here. Like specifically this hook part, I guess you can call it. When this part aligns with the mountain here, like this is the kind of the platform, I guess. This rocky formation going out of the wall. When this aligns with this, that's when you hit C-stick up, and you immediately stop your momentum. You're done moving. You just look down, and you're ready to put on iron boots, basically. So I think I have another screenshot coming up that will show that better. Yeah. So this screenshot shows this right here. You can see like the top part right here is connected to this this wall. That's what I want to look for. So once you got that, you C-stick up, and you can see Link's head is right here, and right, like I can't draw it straight, but you can see straight up. I think this is more straight. It's like right here, the white spot, basically, that I was talking about earlier. But you want this alignment to be very quick. So you got this one now. You're ready to sink down, and from here on, it's the same as in Dragonbane's videos. You just hit C-stick up, you look down at. I'm not sure if I have a screenshot of this, but I might try to. Yeah, I'll try to find it. I'll actually just play this file, and let's see. So you look down, and let's see if it will go away. I'm not sure if this will go away actually. Probably not. Okay, but anyway, this is the formation, and this is like here it is, the black little spot. And you move the camera so it's out of the way. Here it is. Here's the black little spot. Kind of hard to see, but you move this away, and then this one is showing just barely. Something that might happen is that you might mess it up ever so slightly, because you might maybe you went too far to the right. Like when you aligned yourself earlier, right here, you maybe you angle yourself a bit too much to the right, or a bit too much to the left. And you can see that when you reach this point right here and you look down, you can see like how good you were depending on how this looks. And you turn to the left right here, and maybe this disappears too quickly. Like you turn the camera and try to pause. I couldn't pause. Yeah. So right now it's gone, but I like to see like the very bottom of it. Like right now I can't see any of it. It's completely gone. But like right here, this line, I like to see that on the bottom. But if this disappears too quickly, like while you're turning the camera, like maybe it's gone, like way gone, like it's further down, then it's okay. You just don't put on iron boots and hold control stick forward at the same time, because you're already like too far forward, if that makes sense. If this line disappears way too quickly, then what you want to do is that put on iron boots, wait half a second, and then hold forward, and keep holding forward, instead of putting on iron boots and holding forward at the same time. And if it's the other way around, if you've already turned the camera and you can see like more of this than you want to see, then you need to go further forward to hide more of the land. So you swim forward for half a second and then put on iron boots. So you can make that adjustment on the spot, which is pretty important, because like getting this like exactly how you want it every single time with the one C up method is not likely to happen. You're going to be a little bit off here and there, but it's okay because you can just wait, like swim for half a second and then put on iron boots, or put on iron boots and then half a second later then hold forward, depending on what kind of camera angle you want. So it's a good thing to like just do this trick, like as I said, like for half an hour to experiment with it, so you can see like, oh, this time when I lined up this, I was like slightly too far right or slightly too far left, so I had to readjust on the C up later at this spot. So let's see, I'll just play this source right here again. So the air meter appears, good. Go over the text box. I try to align myself very quickly with the wall. Pretty hard to see, but like I see like, oh, there's a small black line. Just keep pulling forward, and then I look at the top right, that little curly thing, and I wait for it to align with the rocky formation, like the hook part, and then see up, look down, and then take my time, and then okay, I think I actually put on iron boots, and then hold forward, and like I space them out just a tiny bit, and you go past here. Good, if you hit it, if that's perfect, and then you make sure that you get that frame on the boomerang, and then once Link clips to the left like that, I start pausing again. And right now I tried to, like in the runs, when I did run this game, I usually, like if I went for this setup, I would talk to Midna very late on purpose, just so I can get like the instant clip, so I didn't have to wait for the float up. Because waiting for the float up, it's a few seconds, you know, and I was, you know, I wouldn't recommend, like, I would recommend going for the float up for pretty much all players, but, you know, I was very experienced with pillar clips, so I just wanted to, like, make it as fast as possible. So if I did do the setup, I would try to, like, time it well, so I wouldn't have to wait, like, 3 seconds for Link to float up before I could clip to the wall. But I have lost a few attempts just because I was a bit like trying to get that perfect timing, and then I just clip like to the right and I don't clip through the wall. But yes, so I'll show some screenshot just about now of some important things. So back to display capture. Next screenshot. So this is the frame you want basically with Boomerang. It's okay to be one frame later than this. Instead of the top of the boomerang being here, it will be at about here. You can still tell like it's okay as long as it's like close to the left side of the diamond. But this is the frame that Dragonbane talked about, where it's like it's right in between, like it's hitting this bottom black line here and the top one here, like connecting the two parts here. And it's the best one, but it can still work with one frame afterwards. But another one, like 2 frames after this, I wouldn't really recommend that. But this actually, like if you get this frame, then don't swim too quickly after you force and equip your iron boots now, because this, like, if you are further down, it's okay to like mash more. It's kind of hard to explain, but like the further down you are, like if you didn't get this frame but you get one more frame or one more frame after that, like the boomerang is down here, you're further down, then when you swim up, you will like swim further into the pillar, so you actually want to swim pretty fast. But if you get this first frame, make sure to not mash too quickly, because if you do, then you'll push yourself up left and you won't get properly underneath the pillar. But again, like your position under the pillar now, all the visual cues you did previously will have an effect on this. So it's not just this part in the swimming; it all flows together. So it's like you need to get like every single like part of the setup correct. But you can tell that, oh, I mashed A too quickly because I'm not underneath the pillar, or I did it too slowly. Like it's not like very precise. But if you're just like mashing for your life, then you will probably realize it, that I shouldn't have done that because I got this frame. Again, it's kind of hard to explain, but if you just do this for like half an hour, you'll probably see the outcome sooner or later. And then, so here, you know, I get this frame, I equip the lantern over the iron boots, and then I just start pressing A fairly quickly. And then on this frame, Link, he's swimming up like this, and then right when he comes to this point, he gets pushed to the left, this is when I bring up the item menu again, and I equip Iron Boots back over the lantern. And from here on, I pause buffer a little bit until Link reaches around the X point, right here, around here. And then I press Z to call Midna. But remember that when you unpause with the item menu wheel, you can't buffer inputs, and you can advance only one frame. So when you close the item menu and you try to do like an input, it will be like 2 or 3 frames later. I can't remember exactly how many frames, but closing, like, it's not the same as Ocarina of Time. You close the start menu and you can press like B to slash, and like he will slash on the very first possible frame. Here you need to time it, and you will lose 1 or 2 frames after the item wheel has been closed before you do an action. That's just how the game works, unfortunately. So if you're high up here and you are on this item wheel and you close it down, remember that when you call Midna, you'll be a little further up because you skipped like 1 or 2 frames. And if you do too late, then you'll be clipped inside the pillar right here, and GG, because the clip to go through the wall is right here. So don't wait too long, but also don't do it too early. If I called Midna here, it will be way too early. You need to be around this area right here. And this is where I call her. So you can see I'm like right underneath the pillar, and I need to wait for the float up because the clip is like right here about. So you put on Iron Boots around this area to clip through. So if you end up like this, then you did a good Midna call. You did a very safe one. You just need to wait for Midna to Link to float up. So I think this is the first text box. No, it was the last one. Anyways, the amount of text box, remember that it depends on the version you're playing. English text box and German text boxes, like, they're different. So one time I played on English after playing on German for so long, and I think German only has 1 text box if I remember correctly, and that threw me off. At least like how long it scrolls. It's like a factor. So make sure that you wait so you have this ready here before and Link is finished floating before you clip through. Close the text box. So he floats from here to here, and when he's up here, like by this little this pointy edge right here, I know that okay, he's far enough up. He's finished floating. I can close the text box, and now it's simply holding forward and equipping Iron Boots will make me pop through, and then just take them off, on, off, and you just tap swim to the loading zone. And that's basically it. I'll play it one more time. There are different scenarios you can get depending on how you set it up. I only did 1 recording now, but I explained the fact that when you look down, after you reach this point where you're over the pillar, you might need to adjust, like putting on Iron Boots and then holding forward, or holding forward and then putting on Iron Boots, or do it at the same time, which is ideal. Right there, I think I had to put them on first, and then just like wait a few frames and then hold forward. Otherwise, I would have hit the edge right there, but not too sure. So I get this. I pause buffer like on my way down as well for that boomerang frame, just to make sure I get it. So right there, yeah. Right before Link reaches this part, you should close and call Midna. Otherwise, it'll be too late. And then make sure to actually turn to the right into the loading zone, because a mistake I did was that I went this way. Like I went, well, you can't see the cursor, but I went pretty much straight forward. Like I looked at the loading zone, and the loading zone extends out of bounds, like outside of the tunnel. Very far, or pretty far above the tunnel, but not necessarily so far to the left or right of the tunnel. Like the tunnel is still a very good indication of where the loading zone is, or where the loading trigger is. So a mistake I did, like just now, like earlier today, relearning this because I haven't played this game in like several years, basically, was that I looked at, like, I hit C-stick, so I was like looking at the temple and just went straight forward, but I didn't like turn enough to the right, so there was no loading zone to hit, even though I was really far forward. So it's important to just like turn enough to the right. You don't have to turn very far at all. You can see I'm about to do it now. Turn a bit to the right, and then about here you're good. You will like hit it right there. Anyways, it's a bit of a long video, but I'll stop it now. If any more questions, then just keep asking.